Hi and welcome to another market update video, and today we're going to look at some of the counts that I think that we could be in for Bitcoin this cycle, and we compare it to the last cycle also and look where we're going to go from here, especially with the alts is something that's very interesting right now, and I'll go into that a bit later in this video. So so when we look at the Elliott wave count, we have the main count, which is the wave 1 back in April last year, wave 2 down here in September. Here is this the 3, then the 4, and then finally we'll get the 5th up. Now that is a count that's not very popular at the moment. A lot of people are going with the third, the third, which will be a bit higher, around 90,000 to 100,000, and then we'll get the 4th, and then the 5th to 140, 130, around 135, up to 150,000 maybe. Now the only reason I'm questioning that count a little is because of the fib retracements, and what I mean by that. So if we look at the first, where we're getting rejected from here, so this is the 1.618 is a typical third wave extension target. Okay, so once we get into this third wave here, the 1.618, as if I go back and show you, if I show you the count back in, also back in in the last cycle. So if we have the 1 down to the wave 2, and you'll see the 1.618, which is around here, is exactly more or less the point where Bitcoin topped out at 43,000, and then obviously you get the wave 4 down, and then you get the final wave 5 top. Obviously, people are probably expecting at the moment if we go back to the current count, people are probably expecting this wave here. Let me just hide that. They're probably expecting the 2 to get to around, or the wave 3 to get to around 96,000, and then the pullback to around 75, and then wave 5 at the top. But we're in this kind of crucial phase here, and when I look at this again, if I just show you this again in terms of the retracement. Now if we look at the retracement levels, and that's another important thing. If we're retracing this whole wave, right, the whole wave, from here, from wave 3, and we'll see what kind of retracements we get. So from here, if I go into the wave 4, okay, so the whole wave 3 retracement has come into the 2, the 0.36. Obviously you can get down into the 382, which is another perfectly acceptable retracement, but it has come back into this area. We go back into what I will say is 2000 and the last cycle, again coming back into, it didn't quite make the 382, but it came back into the 0.236. so again, these retracements, it's very hard to say at the moment, is this a wave 3, or is this a wave 3 of the 3 of 3, and we still got the 5 of 3 left, or is this, that's it, is this the was this the wave 5 of 3, and now we just got the wave 5 left? And that's the kind of scenario we're in. So we can look at both scenarios, and we can look at the targets. So if we do look at the targets here, let me just take this one off. So if we have the count where this is the 3rd, that's the 4th, we've only got one more leg up, and that will be around this area here, between 90,000 and I would say 110,000. And when I put my major target in, my major fib level in, this area, the 1.886 at 100 and 1,000, 102,000, this area would be a perfect top target if this was the wave 5 macro. Now if I take that back off, and if I say no, actually we're in the we're in the wave 3. So again, the target, if I move this across, will be the same, roughly the same, and we'll still get that wave 4 pullback. So in any of these two scenarios, whichever one we're in, we're going to get a pullback once we get into this area. So this is why I'm saying this is a very key area to take profits, because I don't see how we're going to get into this area and just fly straight past. It's either going to be the macro top, and it could come in June, or it's going to be, the wave 5 of 3 major, and we're going to have a 30% pullback at least when it comes to this. And the reason I say this also is because when I look at the alt chart, and that's something I really like to look at, is the alt chart. And when I look at this, and this is something that's very interesting, if we look at the last cycle here, so we had the wave 1 from August 2019 all the way up until September 2020, and within there we had that massive DeFi summer. So that was a crazy time if you were around then. We had the sharp wave 2 pullback, okay, and then we were in this massive wave 3, and this massive wave 3 coincided, if you can look at the dates, it was around May 2021. This coincided with a major wave 5 top of Bitcoin. So here was the major wave 5 top of Bitcoin, and then we had a 40% correction, 50% correction, and then we had the final blow off top, back in January 2022. Obviously some alts topped in November 2021 when Bitcoin made its B wave, but that whole cycle lasted up until the blow off top or the B wave, sorry, for Bitcoin. If I show you that back here, so this was the B wave of Bitcoin, which was the major altcoin top here. Okay, so that's how you distinguish between what's happening with the cycles. If I go back a cycle again, this is back in 2015 17 cycle. We had the wave 1 coming back into this wave 2 786, and then again the massive wave 3, but this time this wave 3 here in June 2017 wasn't Bitcoin's blow off top. So that's something to actually note as well. So this one was kind of different, where Bitcoin, this was also in Bitcoin's wave, it was in Bitcoin's wave 5, but not the final move of wave 5. This was Bitcoin's final wave 5 move back in December, and then we got the blow off top in Bitcoin's B wave, and I'll show you what I mean here. Bitcoin's B wave was this one, the one in January 2018, the one that's got the slightly lower high. If I zoom in, you can see clearly. So that's wave 5, A, B, major top of the alts. Go back a cycle again, or go forward a cycle. Let's go. I can again here. Wave 5, A, B, major cycle top. Okay, so when I'm looking at Bitcoin now, it can go two ways. I'm not going to pretend I know exactly what's happening in terms of, is it the wave 5 or is it the the wave 3 or 5. To be honest, it could be either. And for me, it's not too much of an issue, because I'm not really focusing too much on Bitcoin in terms of, is it the wave 5, is it the wave 3 or 5. I don't really care, because when it comes to the alts, it's quite clear to me what's happening. Around here, you take profits whether you're on Bitcoin or in alts. Remember, it's not financial advice, it's just something that I'm going to do. So when I look at the altcoin market, and this is what I want to show you. So we've had this wave 1, we're coming into the wave 2. Now, how do I get these extension targets? This is just the negative Fibonacci from the pull here. Okay, so we got the pull here of the 618, all of these extensions. This is just the negative, and what you'll notice on all of these cycles, Bitcoin hits the negative 1.618 generally. Okay, and in both of them, obviously this one went a bit further, but what you have to realize here is in the alts wave 4. So if we just go on with it here, so I'll show you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to show you in all of them so you're completely aware. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, what I want to show you in this one, 1, 2, probably here around 3, 4, 5. Now what I want to show you, and this is something to be aware, this wave 3 here, will coincide in Bitcoin's next major top around 90,000, to 100,000, in my opinion, in that kind of rough area. What you don't want to be doing here is holding the bag, because you have a nice gain, really good alt season here, great alt season if you remember it, from December all the way to May. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 X's were happening. But then what happens after that, and this is kind of what's going to happen again in my opinion. Let's look at the first one. Oh yes, we have a 60% correction. What about the next one? Wave 3 to wave 4. Oh, another 45% correction. And what's interesting, if I put where the correction probably will come, because it's come at the 236 negative. Look where it comes. It comes all the way back down here. So look, 236 negative, 236 negative. And what is a 236 negative from the 1.618? Let's have a look. Maybe you can't see that, but I do it here. Oh, it's another 46% correction. So, do you understand what I'm saying? So, you get a massive correction here. So you end up basically back here for the wave 5, which could happen. So, all I'm saying is in this next move up, as we hit this 1.618 negative, I will be taking profits personally, and that will coincide with Bitcoin being around at 30,000. Sorry, not 30,000, 90,000, 100,000. It's somewhere in that area. But this is what I want to show you, because I think it's a good time right now. It's a good time right now to see, where Bitcoin and where the altcoins are, because we've had this wave 1 up. We'll come into the wave 2. It can go all the way down. If you look back here, it went down to the 8.886. Right here is near to the 786. Cycle before at the 786. So we're in the range for the pullback. Whether it pulls back, it comes back more, it doesn't. We'll see. But this area here obviously is a buy area for me to ride it all the way up to the 0.1618 negative, and then expect, at least on previous history, from here to here is a 40% correction. From here to here was around a 60% correction. So that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting a big correction after the wave 3, which will top out in this area. And then we got the wave 5, and whether that wave 5 is a new all-time high for Bitcoin, or it's just a B wave that is a double top, or whatever it comes, then so be it. But my point here is I'm not too much focused on Bitcoin, because obviously alts is where I think now where they'll start outperforming Bitcoin. And what you notice as well is that every major point here is when BTC dominance starts dropping hard compared to Bitcoin and alts. So here, that's when BTC dominance start tanking. Here, that's when BTC dominance start tanking. And here, again, I know we haven't got the confirmation yet in terms of BTC dominance, but I do think that this could be an area where BTC dominance starts dropping. That's another thing that I'm thinking. So, we had these major areas where BTC dominance start tanking back. These 3 crucial areas. So if we start getting that BTC dominance drop now, with ETH, BTC going up, it will be very, very interesting. So this is just something that I wanted to get out there, because I think this is a really interesting time for alts, because from June 2023 up until obviously this year, January to March, we had a massive run up in alts. Maybe people weren't part of it, but just from experience, alts went on average, I think, between 7 to 10x and that was just the standard alts. You know, some alts, obviously if you've got the micro caps and you're a proper DJ, then you may have done 50x on some coins. But this is the one, you know, this leg from 2 to 3, this is the leg that you really want to be taking advantage of, you know. And it's very clear from me. And this chart, obviously it's others divided by BTC USD, and the reason I like this chart is because this chart tells you when on average when the altcoins start outperforming Bitcoin. Because if you look here, look, we know the market bottom was back in here, you know, November 2022. We know that's when BTC bottomed, but the altcoins generally haven't been outperforming Bitcoin until June 2023. That's when a bunch of them start outperforming Bitcoin, and that's quite true if you go back and look at some of the charts individually. That's when a whole range of alts start outperforming Bitcoin, where Bitcoin may have done a 2x or a 1.5, 2x, or altcoins did 5 to 10x, you know, in that time period. And here again, from this wave down here all the way to the top, where I think it'll get, I think again alts may do a 10, 15x from here, but you don't want to be riding the 60% move down, because, you know, that's going to be painful. So me personally, I'll be taking profits here, re-entering probably at the 236, the way it looks like, the way each correction looked like to the 236. You know, it could maybe a bit higher, but, you know, if we look from, if we just do a standard fib, a retracement from here, you know, it could get into the 302, but that's the golden ratio. So I'll be laddering down. I'll be looking at the market and waiting for the fifth wave up. Obviously that's the key, and obviously the fifth wave up will be the one where we, you know, that will be where Bitcoin goes into its B wave right there. So that's something to note as well. Yeah, so let's look at the Bitcoin quickly, the local analysis, and let's see what's happening with Bitcoin and where I think it could go. Let's just get this off and let's look here. So a quick update I'll do on Bitcoin, on what I think is happening. So we've got the trend, obviously the trend breakout here, right? And so far we're rejecting so far the 618. Now we have to go back into the lower time frames just to see exactly where Bitcoin is. So we've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, and we've got the 5. You can say I don't like this wave structure personally. It's a bit messy. This 4 is all over the place, you know, and the 5 is kind of short. You know, I would like the 5 to get up to 68,000, the 1-to-1. But hey, we can only do what we, you know, get what we work with. We're out of the channel, you know, which is, we regain that channel, we're out of it, which is another bullish you know, sign of strength. But, you know, have we really changed market structure yet? Higher low, I'm sorry, lower low, there's a lower low there, you know, until we start really getting above you know, some of these price levels. I would say probably this one around 68,000 and holding above 68,000, then you can say, yeah, we're in a nice uptrend. But what I would be looking for now, so we've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What I'll be looking for is the retrace. So I'm not too worried about it going up. Even if it does hit 68,000, that's great. But there's always going to be the retrace. What you want to see in the retrace, you know, you want to see, say you want to see like a B, C, you know, clear 3 wave down, move down. And then, you know, as this was a 5 wave move up, you want to see a 3 wave move down to know it's just a corrective wave and not an impulse. And then you can really target the 89,000, and that would be the best entry, you know, the safest entry. So right now we're kind of seeing the 5 wave move up, maybe get one more up, but once you see that, you know, corrective 3 wave move down in the wave 2, then you can start targeting, you know, the real move. So right now it's still in its early phases. Whether this move is finished, whether we get one more up to, you know, 68,000, will remain to be seen. You know, I'm just playing it patient at the moment. I'm not too worried about Bitcoin. the first stage is done. You know, we've got that 5-wave move, albeit a bit messy, but we got it. If we get that move up to the 1-to-1 at 68, and then we get that 3-wave move down, that will be super bullish for continuation to, I would say, 90,000 at least, and then we can take it from there. But as you know, for me, it's all about the altcoins, and you know, looking at that major wave 3 target, and you know, possibly having a really great alt season. So I am excited about this wave 3. I want to see if it plays out just like the other 2 cycles. You know, wave 2 was depressing if you were around last year, or even in the cycle before. Just like here, you know, people were calling for new bear market, new lows, another 50% altcoin crash, lots of stories, you know, wars coming, you know, all that sort of stuff. But you know, if we get this wave 3 up, and remember, when we get this wave 3 up, and if it does happen, and we get to the 1.618 around here, you know, altcoins by that time would have done a minimum of 10x. You're gonna see crazy things going on in the market, and then we're gonna get 40% crash. So just be aware of that as well. But anyway, I hope you like this update, and yeah, I'll see you next time.